Am I alive? I'm live! Greetings, Warriors! What a fun movie we had tonight. Telling you, it's we've been going on a curve, and that curve, like a bell curve, it's going uphill, baby. We're rising like the stock market. Let me tell you. Chud is one of those good, feel good, go to movie kind of you know. Now, like back in the day, like I said, I saw it at the drive-in. I like going to the drive-in because it was more communal. When you go to a movie, you're sitting in your chair. You shouldn't talk because people are around you. You're not allowed to smoke, not allowed to drink, right? So what do, right? You hang out at the drive-in with your friends. You bring a cooler. You get a hoagie. Maybe you order a pizza, a bucket of chicken. You sit outside in your lawn chair and you watch a movie. Great movie like Chud. So tonight I got the last of my Turbo Reaper by Floyd's Brewery, Three Floyds. It's some pretty good stuff, let me tell you. But the last of the Halloweenish beers, you know what I'm saying? But it's funny. I gave one of these to the doc, and he was when he does his murder table Monday. But I got my Tri Delta, right, Viking symbol, and I got that down at a place called Valhalla Brewery, which is in Elkton, Maryland. Great place to go. Really cool, a really cool Viking theme, you know. And then if you ever get a chance, you really want to go full Viking, right? Go to Valhalla, right? And then get on 95 over to Route 1, go all the way down to like by Rehoboth. And there's a place called Brimming Horn Meadery. The best. There's two places that I love to make mead, right? One is a place called Rebel Hill, and it's in like central Pennsylvania. Then they got this other place down in Delaware. It is worth the ride from the Brooklyn Cemetery to go down there, right? What am I wearing? All right. You guys in the chat are asking what I'm wearing. I'm wearing my crown. We just had our election. No one ran against me because I'm the king, right? And at the election, and I was yet again for my 22nd term voted king of the Darbarians, king of the Tri-Darby Kingdom. Let me tell you, I got them all unified. I got the township, I got the borough, and I got Upper Darby, and slowly we took over all the other boroughs. One Darby, one world, right? And I got this on in honor of our guy in Chud, who was, they called him a hippie, but he was the homeless advocate. Great guy, you know. And it's just kind of funny watching it, knowing that they were on Home Alone, you know, because it's just like the doc and I were kidding around about the Chud verse, where you can merge Home Alone and Chud, and the key person, like the doc brought up, is the homeless lady in Chud too. Oh man, tell you, the crown weighs heavy, man. But then again, heavy is the crown that the king wears, right? That's about the burdens. Shakespeare. You guys don't know it, don't worry about it. But anyway, so Chud. Chud, again, is one of those fun feel-type movies like Gremlins and Critters and, you know, all of those 80s offbeat, funny, goofy movies. And I'm glad the boss got it, right? Because last week with Reanimator, I love Reanimator, and I told you the story about the first time I saw it, where my roommate, or one of I sort of like didn't live there, but I was there all the time, kind of thing, right? My buddies had a place down at a place called Drexel University. Now, none of us could afford to pay for cable back then because, like, they were in college. I was just out of college, and I was working, and so they used to have a TV station, broadcast station, that would broadcast this channel called Prism. Now, Prism was sort of like the precursor to like HBO. And it had local sports, right? All the 4-team sport, or 3. They didn't have football. And then they had concerts live from the Spectrum in Philadelphia. and they had movies for filler. And Reanimator is one of those movies. And one of the guys that lived in the house, right, was an engineer, and he got it where you could get a paper clip and you twist it around the base of the antenna, and then you had the antenna. Remember the old antennas? The wire came into the house, the antenna was on the outside, right? They literally had their antenna hanging, right, out their window in the living room. But welcome to college, all right? And so we had this little paperclip wrapped around it. We could watch Prism and see all those great movies. And we watched Reanimator one night after we came rolling out of our local bar called Kavanaugh's, local college bar, right? Place I ended up working for years later, working off my debts. Now I'm looking. But we came rolling in after that, not Friday night, right? College night, and we turned that on and we watched it and we roared. It's so goofy and funny, and especially then when they're pulling the innards out. But with Chud, like I said, I saw Chud for the first time at the drive-in, and it's such a fun movie because, and again, it's a movie that when you leave, you're just talking about the movie and laughing, right? It's not going to make you want to go out and save the whales or hug a tree or any of that corny stuff, right? It was just a fun movie, you know? And I'm glad that when you're watching it, right, you see a lot of actors, right, before they became big, Hurt, right, you know? And it was, I thought that for a movie that came out in the early 80s that had so many of these stars, right? And the stars continued to work with the director when they went on to do Home Alone, right? And it was just fun, you know? And the monsters, I love the monsters at the end because they're just like, I mean, because you know the monsters are actually the homeless people, right? Did you guys get that from the movie? The homeless people got radiated and then they became the monsters. All right. Spoiler alert. Pay attention when you're watching a movie next time, right? But the eyeballs that glowed, right? And I could just picture that coming up out of the sewer at me. God forbid, but it came up through the basement, right? To the chick's place where the dog was hanging down there, which happened to be the police captain's dog, right? Because the lady that got killed at the beginning of the movie walking the dog, that was the police captain's. You guys pay attention to the movie? God, people, come on. It's the Wake. We're going over what happened in the movie. You should see the movie. Anyway, so if we keep getting movies like that, trust me, guys, stick with us, and there's a lot of fun coming up. So next week, we got 2 movies. We're on Friday and Saturday. You know why? Because we're so popular, plus we got a backload of movies, shows we can put out there, right? And the first one is Phantom of the Mall. Now, Phantom of the Mall. I need a sip for this. Damn good. Phantom of the Mall has Pauly Shore before Pauly Shore became the Pauly Shore we all know and hate. And it has Morgan Fairchild before Morgan Fairchild became like the the love lust of John Lovett on Saturday Night Live, right? They were on their way up, but they weren't there yet, and they were the movie. And Morgan Fairchild's the heavy, if you believe that. She's the bad guy, right? The typical hot chick who, is the front person for this business, right? And everybody thinks she's just there for her looks. Then it turns out that she's like the brains behind the whole thing, and she was willing to oh my goodness, I got an itch. She was willing to let someone else take the fall. Typical, right? So what happened, right? In the movie, you'll see it next week, right? And Pauly Shore is just a supporting character, right? He's sort of like, he's not the plucky comic relief, but he's kind of like the comic relief. He's kind of like a goofball, but he wasn't the surfer goofball that he became when he was on MTV and then Encino Man and all those other really, really bad movies. Then Saturday night, we're going up against Svengoolie, and we're pulling out all the stops, right? Because we're going to have Kane Hodder in the movie Paralyzed with Fear. Now, Paralyzed with Fear, it's an independent movie, right? And basically it's about husband and wife getting in a car crash, right? I can tell you, husband. It's only in the first 10 minutes of the movie. Husband dies, wife is paralyzed. The wife's sister and the wife's daughter has to take care. They got to take care of the wife, but she's paralyzed in bed. And then a ghost comes and mayhem ensues. Great, great movie, right? Great independent movie. The videography isn't the best, right? And the daughter's not the best actress, but the action and the theme and the storyline behind it, you guys will love it. It's going to be a ball of fun. And then we got December. So December we have an independent movie called Grotesque. First one coming up, right? And it's actually kind of a fun independent movie. It's making fun of other horror movies, right? Basically, it's about a girl who has like a Pinocchio syndrome. She's got a big ass nose, right? And what she does to overcome it, and what happens to the people that make fun of her, right? Then there's Horlow's Hunt. I believe that's another independent movie, and it's their Harlow's Haunt. It's a home they go into, and it's haunted, and it's actually kind of scary, right? But I enjoyed it. Graveyard Stories, right? That'll be coming up the third week of December, and it's sort of like Creepshow, where it has a bunch of vignettes in it. It's really good, right? Then the 20th, the Friday before Christmas, our Christmas special, right? Santa Claus Conquers the Martian, starring Pia Zadora. I've been hyping this movie up since September, when they announced they were going to do it. I pretty much got on my hands and knees and begged the boss to get this, right? Because once I found it was public domain, it was a no-brainer. It's a movie that I've watched since I was a kid, and every horror show host has it. Elvira, Mystery Science Theater, Mummy and the Monkey, The Ghoul did it, Dr. Shock did it back in the day, right? Morgus, Dr. Morgus from New Orleans, oh my God, when he did it, it was great, you know? You will love it. And basically it's a story of the Martian kids are bored, right? The Martian parents are like, how do we get them from being bored? Let's go get them Santa Claus from Earth. Ooh, right? And it's just goofy all the way through it. You will enjoy it. Pia Zadora's in it. Again, she's one of the world's worst actresses, but boy, she was a looker. I'm telling you, right? And like I said, back in the 80s, right, she was like a heartthrob. She was in one movie where I forget the name of the movie, but when she was in it, she was supposed to be some kind of rich socialite, and she could not act her way out of a paper bag, brother. Horrible. And then New Year's weekend, we have a time travel movie. I thought it'd be kind of cool. New Year, the time travel movie, Cyborg 287, right? Has the guy in it from Assignment Terror and oh God, I can't think of the other one. But he's been in a ton, and I'm telling you, a ton of science fiction horror movies. Man, like I said, the doc is more into the horror stuff. I'm more into the sci-fi stuff. I enjoyed this movie. And the doc, if you go look at the doc's YouTube page, he did a review of that movie probably August-ish. So go to his YouTube page and see it. And he really, really did a good show in reviewing that, right? Then we got January coming up. Oh, my goodness. Right? And what do we got in January? Chud. Normally I think I would be prepared, right? Oh, God. Oh, so we have Terror Train. Jamie Lee Curtis and David Copperfield slub themselves down to be in this movie. Basically, it's a movie of a bunch of college seniors taking out, going on a train in costume and having a big ass party, and they're kind of treating train like it's a cruise ship, and murder happens, right? After that, we got Alligator. Alligator, if you remember the stories of it in New York back in the 90s, right? Or pardon me, 70s and 80s, people would buy little pet alligators at the market, right? Bring it home. Parents would freak out. They'd flush it down the toilet. It would go down into the sewer. What happens? There's a ton of rats down there, right? Alligator eats the rats. Alligator grows 20 feet, right? Crawls out of the sewer and kills people. Pretty much the plot of the movie. Sort of like if you remember Lake Placid with Betty White, giant alligator movie, right? Remember the movie Croc? Giant alligator movie. It's a great movie. You guys will enjoy it. And again, another movie where New York City is in its brightest light. Next one is Rabbit Grannies. I haven't seen Rabbit Grannies yet. I'm going to be watching that this weekend. But from what I hear, it is freaking hysterical, right? And I can't wait. So, and then after that, we have Tales from the Crypt. But it's not Tales from the Crypt from the 90s, right? And there was two Tales from the Crypt movies, right? This was one that was made in the early 70s. Again, it's none of those movies has like 4 different vignettes, 4 different stories in it, and it's really good. So what's going to happen is, for January, right, the Doc and I are going to do 2 movies together. Then we're going to pick one each and do it ourselves. The Doc has picked Tales from the Crypt. I'm going back and forth between Alligator and Rabbit Grannies, right? I'll probably take Alligator. It depends on how hokey Rabbit Grannies is, but we're looking forward to it. In February, right, we have oh God, we have one love story. I can't think of the name of it across my head. Little Shop of Horrors, right? What better love story, right, than you have a man and his plan, right? I can't wait. Another one coming up, and in March we're trying to find an Irish-themed one. We might go with the Hunchback of Notre Dame. It depends on what we can find out there, right? The boss, he's out there looking, trying to find one for us. And I said, in public domain, we could do the Hunchback. But then again, the Hunchback is it's a silent movie. And even though a lot of people enjoyed watching the Man Who Laughed, the Nosferatu, they were like, we ought to space out our silent movies a little bit more. So that's probably what we're going to do. Yeah, that's it. So you guys saw in the movie tonight a couple of the interviews I did. Last weekend, I went to Monster Mania 61, right? Now, Monster Mania is a convention that travels all up and down the East Coast. In Philly, they do at Philly, Jersey, New York. They do at Baltimore. I believe they do like mid-Pennsylvania. And it's fun. It's packed. I went on Saturday, right, mainly because I wanted to get some interviews in and see some really cool stuff. Right there, I swear to God, I wish I had like a bottomless credit card, right? Because there was so much cool stuff there. But you can see, right, here, like, you can look. I mean, I got all kinds of stuff up and down the walls, on the ceiling, right? Helga tells me I got too much and I spend too much. And she might be right, But, so we're going to, so I went and it was a lot of fun, right? I got interviews with a bunch of vendors. Saw the 2 tonight. I interviewed The Shadow, which was really cool because it's funny. I remember seeing The Shadow at Alec Baldwin, and I went to see it. in honor of my dad, because my dad loved the Shadow radio show, and he had a whole box of cassettes that had the Shadow on it, and God, it actually had the original Orson Welles War of the Worlds on a cassette tape. And as of right now, I can't find them. I want to be able to convert them over. I have a friend that can convert cassette tapes onto a digital, right? So I was looking forward to that, But as of right now, I ain't got it, So, but I got to interview a ton of people. I got to interview 4 different authors who are really, really nice people, and I'm actually looking forward to for you guys seeing those interviews. I interviewed the guys from Trauma, right? And they were great. Oh my God, Danny, the one guy, Dan Blake, he was involved with the guys from Slaughter Beach. So when I interviewed, did the Slaughter Beach interview, he was one of the fellows that was there. I interviewed Frankie, who's one of the bigwigs in the area for Trauma, right? Really, really interesting guy, right? He was fun. And then his son was there, right? And his son was in a movie called Don't Mess Around with Murder or something like that, right? And that's coming out on video. And when that video comes out with the kid, I have to get permission. So I interviewed 3 kids this weekend, right? And being a Viking Scout leader, we have rules called YPT, where we don't, we have to get written permission to be able to post a kid's thing on there. And I carried it through my to this and my regular life, mainly because I believe in protecting kids. I wouldn't want some dude with a Viking hat and a biker jacket interviewing my kid and putting it on the internet without my permission. That's the way it is. But anyway, he was in that movie. And then when I interviewed Frankie, he had with him someone who does special effects, like, for facial and all that kind of stuff. She was there. She was really cool, and she did a ton of movies. And that was a good interview with the 2 of them. And then I interviewed the Toxic Avenger. One of my favorite things, man. He was hysterical, right? And so if you get a chance, right, they're on my YouTube channel right now, but they're going to be on the show as we go in as filler, right? That's why I go to these conventions, do all these interviews, right? But I also got a chance. I get interviewed Deadpool dressed for Christmas. I got to, oh goodness gracious, who else did I interview there? But I was, like I said, a bunch of authors. And I interviewed this one little girl, right? She does cosplay, right? She was like 11 or 12, right? And it's called Kid Dreadful, right? And she was dressed as like Chucky Longstocking, the way she was dressed. But then she was dressed as a zombie, I think, on Friday, and on Sunday, there are pictures out there what she was dressed in. She's really cool. She's in a movie called La Cambra, right, that she just made. Right, again, another kid actor on her way up. I'm waiting to get the okay from her parents to post it. And then Saturday night, after I got done being on my feet all day at Monster Mania, because I'm that kind of guy, right? I went down to Widener's Grand Movie Hall down at Widener University in Chester, Pennsylvania. And it's not Westchester like you guys up in New York, Chester, PA. And I saw a movie called Crickfoot, independent movie, and it was so you have like crowd-funded movies, right, where you put it out there, I want to make this movie, can you donate to help me make the movie? And then you have this movie where he did it different. He sent a note to like 20 of his friends who were actors, some people that were just people, one guy was like a cop, right, and had them talk about the main character of the movie, Crickfoot, which is sort of like Bigfoot lives in a crick. You'll see it. And they all did little vignettes, right? And he didn't know what they were doing, because he told us what the story is. make a little video about it, right? And he put it out there, and everybody in the town of like Hatfield and Lansdale, Pennsylvania, which is sort of like, above Philly, between Philly and New York, and it was hysterical. So I interviewed the kid who was in that movie, right, with his pop, and the kid actually won best short movie at Blobfest 25 this year. Kid is 9 years old, has his own YouTube channel called The Planet Kaiju, right? All capital letters, right? And he does like stop animation, all kinds of great, like, and it's all kaiju, Ultraman, Godzilla, Gamera, all that kind of stuff, right? And it was really cool. I got to interview him. He had a bit in the movie, right, where he was out hunting Crickfoot. And then I went and interviewed Bones Jawson. Now, Bones Jawson is just a regular guy who wanted to make a movie, right? He's the guy that directed, wrote, produced, did everything for Crickfoot. And he also hosts a little, like, convention. I think it's called the Boneyard or something like that. That the Doc and I will be making an appearance at this May. I think it's May 23rd. Hope it's not May 23rd. It's my anniversary, but it's in May. And God, if it was the 23rd, Helga would hang me because it's our 92nd. I don't know how long we've been married. It feels like forever, in a good way. Helga's watching. Yeah. So we're gonna go. So Doc are making an appearance there, but this guy Bone Johnson, right? He did he did Crickfoot, another great movie, And the people that put all that together is got a group called Delco Horror Haven. Now, as things are coming up, we have our Christmas special coming up. We're going to show Santa Claus versus the Martians, right? The Doc and I got some things planned. You guys will enjoy it. Trying to get some Christmas shorts to throw in, right? When I interviewed Deadpool's actually dressed for Christmas. He's acting like the guy from Elf, right? He's acting like Buddy from Elf. He's called himself Weedy the Elf, right? It was pretty funny. Probably have that thrown in there. And then, Doc gotta go do some funny Christmas stuff. It'll be fun. And but then December 5th, Delco Horror Haven hosts Krampus. Now, Krampus, what's Krampus? Krampus is the European holiday, but Krampus is sort of like the he's sort of like the anti-Santa, right? And he would be like, if like Santa had his name scrambled up where it was Satan. But anyway, he's kind of the guy that, like, if you were bad, like, you would get taken care of by Krampus. So the idea is you're being scared into being good, right? Hey, Europeans might have had it right back then. I don't know. I didn't scare my kids. I just kind of like told them, behave or else. And then we still spoiled them. Hey, for my oldest warrior, right, I got a really nice broadsword for his 3rd birthday, right? He couldn't lift it till he was 6, but hey, it was a cool gift, right? So, guys, do yourself a favor. It's 11:11. Ooh, make a wish. I didn't get any taller. My nose is still big. All right. But the 11:40 on the Monster Channel. Give the Doc a look-see. He'll be on. You got to forget the name of the movie he's reviewing. But whatever movie he reviews, he is great. Right? And then on Monday, right, the Doc has Murder Table Monday, 5 o'clock. And it's just his podcast. He goes out and he talks about, what's going on, things he's done. He was at Monster Bash a couple weeks ago, so I'm hoping to get a couple of interviews he did, right? And he, he's famous. People know him, right? I go to conventions and they're like, can I interview you? And like, who are you? But if it was the Doc, they'd be like, oh, Doc, yay. I'm jealous. I'm living in his shadow, right? Anyway, so, and then we're on next Friday at 8 and next Saturday at 8. And then the big the week after that. Because, guys, 2 weeks from yesterday, Thanksgiving, right? I'll be out frying my turkey. Um, we're having our Shorty Fest, right? Now, we started with 40. We got it down to 31 positive responses. The rest people didn't get back to us in time. And then now that 30, we got it down to 21. Now we have 19 out of the 21 movies in the can, and we're waiting for the other two. Um, it has to do with rights. We have to make sure we get the directors to let us, the directors and distributors and all that mess to let us have it. But, we're going to put it in Shorty Fest. And then what we're going to do is Doc and I, we're going to pick out the ones we like the best. We're going to put a poll out there. We want you guys to vote what you thought the best short was, and then we will give them an award. And it'll be, Cemetery Cinema said this is the best shorty, public, vote, and then we'll have the ones that Doc and I picked, right? So it'll be good, right? So when they put their shorty out, they'll have it up on the wall. Cemetery Cinema says, right? Self-promotion, baby, right? So, guys, watch us, keep watching us. We're glad you are, right? And, Chindan, Slotcha, Skull. Damn, that's good. Right? Bad Darbarian for Cemetery Cinema. I'm out. See ya. Oh, come on, mouse. Work. Damn, I'm good looking. Dun, 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 dun.